In this video, we're going to show you how to waterproof and tile your bath or shower splashback. It's a really easy process that you can do yourself, so keep watching for a step-by-step guide. And for a full list of tools and materials used in this video, check out the description below. And for jobs like this, it's important to wear PPE, such as gloves and eye protection. You'll need to install tile backer boards that are suitable for use in wet and humid areas onto your wall before you start tiling. New changes to British standards do not allow tiles to be installed directly onto plywood or plasterboard, and these provide a safer, water-resistant and more stable alternative. All you need to do is cut your panels to size and screw them into the wall with a drill and specialised corrosion-protected screws. Then seal your walls using a primer to reduce porosity levels. When tiling a bath or shower splashback, you'll need to add a few steps to make sure the wall is fully waterproof. This process is called tanking. Simply apply jointing tape to the joins in the backing boards and brush Mapai's Aqua Defence over the tape and the panels that cover that area. This will require 2 coats. Make sure to apply jointing tape around the bath too. You'll need to think about the tile pattern when planning your wall. In this video, we're going to match the placement of the tiles on the floor, and this is known as a straight lay. If you've already tiled some of your wall, make some measurements to ensure your splashback tiling matches this placement. You'll also want your wall to match your floor, so take measurements of those tiles and mark them on the wall too. Don't forget to account for the gaps between the tiles when measuring up. It's a good idea to use a spirit level so your markings are at a perfect 90-degree angle. It's also a good idea to mark a horizontal line where the top of the tile will be placed. Again, a spirit level will help you keep these markings accurate. For smaller sections of your wall like this, you'll need to cut your tiles to size. Measure the area and transfer these measurements onto your tiles, again making sure you're subtracting the gaps between the tiles. When tiling around a bath, you'll come across sections where you'll need to cut out a small notch from your tile or cut holes for your water pipes. Mark these instances onto the tiles too. Use a manual scribe for straight cuts, an electric tile cutter or grinder for notches, and a drill with a diamond tip hole cutter for any pipes. Check the instructions on the packaging for the ideal water to product ratio. Then mix the adhesive with water until you get a consistency that looks a little bit like this. It's a good idea to then wash the paddle with a bucket of clean water after mixing to prevent build-up on the whisk. Apply the adhesive to the wall using the notch side of the spreader. Straight uniform lines like this help to avoid creating air bubbles, so you get a stronger bond. Then you'll need to back butter the tile, which basically means using the straight side of the spreader to cover the surface in adhesive. Apply a smooth layer and scrape any excess adhesive back into the bucket. Place the tile onto the wall in line with your measurements, pushing down on all sides. Put spaces in the gaps to make sure everything is evenly spaced. Then use a spirit level to ensure all the tiles are flush and none are sticking out more than the others. And you'll need to continue this method across the entire wall. If you find you'll need to tile around a window like this one, there are a few extra steps. Measure the length of the window ledge and use a saw to cut a piece of trim to size. File the cut ends down so there are no sharp edges. Then measure the depth of the ledge and mark your tiles for cutting. Cut the tiles with a manual scribe and dry fit them onto the ledge, accounting for the 3mm gap in between, and make sure they match up to the tile pattern you've already created. Apply adhesive to the trim and place it onto the edge of the ledge. Lay your ledge tiles down with adhesive and let them set before you continue up the sides, as they'll need to dry before they can take any weight. Once set, repeat these steps for all 4 sides of the window. When you get to the top, make sure you're using enough adhesive and push the tiles down extra hard so they don't fall off. The adhesive should be strong enough, but it's always best to make sure. You may also need to cut some tiles when finishing the area around the window. Make your measurements to work out how your tiles will need to be cut. It's a good idea to make sure the tiles below the window match up to the tiles above. To cut large L shapes out of your tiles, use a grinder. For tiles that just need a single straight cut, use a manual scribe. Check your adhesive's packaging to find out how long it needs to set. Once set, remove the spacers. Mix your grout with clean water according to the instructions on the packaging. Then mix with a drill and whisk until you get the perfect consistency. It should be thick enough to hold its shape on the trowel, but still malleable enough to fill the grooves between your tiles. Starting at the top of the wall, place the grout over the joins and gently work it into the gaps with the grout float, making sure it's flush with the tiles. Leave it to partially dry and wipe off any excess with a damp sponge. Be careful not to apply too much pressure at this stage so you don't pull any grout out of the wall. It's also a good idea to wipe across the joints rather than along them for the same reason. Before you start sealing, thoroughly clean the area. This is important as any dust or dirt will be permanently visible once it sets. Pipe silicone sealant all the way along where the wall meets the floor and the top of the bath or shower. You'll also need to seal any corners where the 2 walls meet. Then use a smoothing tool to scrape away any excess and create a clean, consistent look. And now you're left with a waterproof tiled shower area.